quite chilly in the 50s.
We've had a few basically freezing days, like at night, a couple of them, 2 or 3 of them. Just same as Barry, all about the same. Here comes Tom's alter ego.
Yeah, I'm Tom too. Son of Tom.
Son of Tom.
Hey, Billy, how you doing?
Hey, Bill.
Doing okay. One of these days, let me turn my camera on here. Let me say.
Hey, guys.
We say, Bill.
Hey, Bill.
What's up?
Hey,
Good to see you.
Got your Christmas shopping all done?
there's Billy Blank.
There's Bill.
Okay.
You just landed. What's up, Bill?
Got your Christmas
Not
shopping
much.
done?
The weather's good this week. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Oh,
good. Yeah.
Yeah. It's supposed to be more in the 50s and 60s next week, I think, for the highs. That's about it. So that'll be, a little bit more seasonable, I guess.
Yeah, we're doing about 40s, 30s to about now.
Oh, yeah.
That's doable.
Had snow yet?
Not yet. We had one a few weeks ago, but nothing yet. And nothing worth talking about.
Oh, okay. Yeah. What about you, Tom? You had snow up there?
No, and it's not going to. I've decided we're not having snow this year.
Okay.
Oh, you did, huh?
Yes, I did.
Oh, shall I call you Lord?
Well, my wife loves it, but I'm like, I don't want to go out. It's cold. It looks great when it comes down the first day.
Then you got to blow it.
Then it turns into slush. This isn't like, Maryland's not like Massachusetts where it stays cold. I mean, it'll snow here and then it'll be 70 degrees in 2 days. And
Yeah, that's right.
Well, didn't you buy that humdinger of a snowblower and you were doing
it just came from Costco because I got this 100-foot driveway and I got an apartment and I got to do it. And, the city fines you if you don't do it within 24 hours.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Including in front of your house?
Oh, yeah, the sidewalks. So what I did to screw up the city was I have this snow blower. I do the driveway for the people that live in the apartment, and then I just go out to the sidewalk and I just push forward and just follow that thing up the road. And I do my entire street, which is like 4 blocks long. I do it on both sides. Wow. And then that way nobody gets a ticket for not doing their sidewalks. And I don't fall when I'm walking the dog either. So it works out really well because the snowblower works great on the sidewalk. It just
Yeah.
And
I wouldn't have any frame of reference for that.
No.
It's like a big lawnmower.
You could go door to door in my neighborhood and not one person would have a snowblower.
I think I could relate to
that. Yeah, me
too. I don't
too.
even know what they look like.
I remember
it's hard to remember what snow looks like down here.
That's right.
I think the first year that Kent and I were working down there, it was one night that it got kind of cold and it was icy and the bridge was icy and everybody was flying down the street. Nobody was slowing down and they were sliding all over the place. It was so funny.
Yeah, we don't know how to deal with
on
that.
the ground, yeah.
Yeah.
But
I think it was 2008. We actually had some snow that stuck down here. I mean, like it was like 3 or 4 inches on the ground, and we made snowmen and did the whole thing.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it was before, like maybe a year before Katrina or something. No,
it was
before you after Katrina.
Yeah.
That's right.
I have a really good picture of me and my granddaughter built the snowman, and it seems like it was earlier than that, but it definitely was after Katrina. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's this great video on YouTube of where somebody built this really big snowman and some kids decided they were going to run it over. But to make this big snowman, he had used this tree that had been chopped off.
Wow.
So they hit the snowman and it didn't go anywhere. All right, Christian's here, so let's admit him.
All right.
But I thought that was pretty good.
That's pretty good, yeah.
And my brother-in-law is a high school principal, and he had a bunch of he would always find a dead cat. In the weekend, somebody hit his mailbox, or
Hey, Chris.
dead cat in there. Hey, Chris.
Yes.
Yes. So he buried a railroad spur in the ground
Oh, my Lord.
and never had any more problems after that. Or a couple cars get screwed up. But.
Yeah.
So Billy, how was your job last week?
Last week, Friday, I'm trying to think what it was.
It was at one of the schools.
Oh yeah, no, it was at Jesuit. Yeah, they it's one of these kind of things. They decided to do some Shakespeare, but they socially distanced everything. So they had a different cast in Act 1 and Act 2. So I went on Thursday and shot Act 1, and I'm editing that together. And then they did Act 2, and everybody's spread out all over the stage, and I'd get close-ups on each person, and then so they don't have to be next to each other. And then I'll have it ready probably by Sunday, and they're gonna live stream it for the parents because they can't have audiences, so.
Well, that's good. At least
But
you're
I'm
working.
charging the same amount as I used to, so I'm working like about 10 times as hard just to make a buck, so it's like.
What is it? What play is it?
They did The Tempest, but they said it in New Orleans as in the Katrina storm. They kind of updated it, they wore the different clothes, and they had a second line at one point in it. They just tried to make it, contemporary. They still use all Shakespeare's words, though. He didn't say where thou at or nothing.
Who daddest? Who daddest?
Yeah.
Hey, what's up,
Who
man?
is that?
Where thou at? Yeah, we could do a Shakespeare in New Orleans dialect, couldn't we?
Well, I don't know if y'all know that Banu's husband, Buzzy, was like the foremost expert on Shakespeare in the region.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
yeah.
he taught Shakespeare over at Tulane and stuff like that, besides being a banjo player. And,
Well,
and so one time I was in college, we were working at Houlihan's, and I was taking a lit class, and my assignment was to take The Tempest, Shakespeare's The Tempest, and if you were the director, how would you direct it? I need to write a paper on how I would direct The Tempest and produce it. So I went to Buzzy. I said, "This is my assignment. What can I do? You want to help me with it?" He said, "What do you like?" I said, "What do you mean, what do you like?" "I like playing the banjo." He said, "No, that won't do." He said, "What do you watch on TV?" I said, I watch Star Trek." He said, "That's it. You're gonna produce The Tempest, which is about a lost ship, and it's defined as an island and all that, a la Star Trek." So I wrote this paper producing The Tempest, Shakespeare's The Tempest, a la Star Trek. I turned it in, and the teacher thought I was a genius. Yeah, so I was a genius on this. And this idea came over the bar at Houlihan's.
Yeah. No,
Wow, that's interesting. Huh.
Yeah, that's what they're trying to do, and like a lot of the schools I work at, they try to update The Tempest. I mean, the Shakespeare shows to make them so the kids can kind of get into it, even though they use the dialogue just like Shakespeare wrote it, just to make it something where the kids, the adults, and everybody who watches it enjoys it a little better.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah.
There was it was decent. They had some stuff. Oh, you know what? Live long and perspire.
By the way,
That's
there's a guy on YouTube that does these interviews with jazz musicians, Dan Z. I can't remember his last name, a tuba player, but he interviewed Banu this week, and it's running on Facebook. So I imagine if you type in Banu, there's an hour interview. It's very good. I watched it yesterday.
Oh, good. I'll check it out.
If you're interested, go to Facebook, type in Banu's name and Dan Z. I can't think of his last name. He's a tuba player that's out of the West Coast.
Okay, try it out.
Okay.
It's a good interview.
musicians.
She does a good job. So if you're interested, check that out.
Yeah, she lives in New Orleans, doesn't she?
She does.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
She does. And
yeah, I know I mentioned it before, but where I got to know Banu, I didn't know her at all from the Mustache days.
I didn't either.
She hired me to record her one-woman show a long time ago. back when they were doing it at Le
Okay.
Chatenois on St. Charles.
Right.
And it was later when I brought her the video, Buzz was there, and I did know Buzz. He was still alive at the time, obviously. And I brought him the videos, and I said, "Oh, Buzz, okay." And I didn't connect it all, and then she told me, "Oh yeah, it was in the show band and all."
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay.
Well, I was lucky after the mustache on Bourbon Street burned down. Peter will remember this, but a lot of us from the mustache band went across the street to Houlihan's and played there.
Yep.
And the regular band was Neil Tidwell on tuba, and Maynard, myself, and Banu. And that was a fun little foursome, and stayed together for 3 years. Yeah.
Huh.
Thanks to Kent.
There's Herb.
Herb and
There's Jim.
Jim.
And Jim.
Hello, guys.
How y'all doing? Herb, we can't see your face. You're
better off.
really dark.
You're better off.
Who knows what evil lies in the hearts of
I'm
man?
backlit. It's okay. Can you see the reflection of my glasses?
No.
Yeah.
No. Oh,
Well, what you want to do, watch it'll reflect on the computer, and on a computer screen, you should be able to see my face.
But let me ask you, does your face hurt? Because it's killing me.
I'm sorry. Maybe I could get a flashlight or something like that. I don't know.
Okay, so now John is joining us. I wonder if John.
Yeah, it's me. I'm still alive.
You still alive, John? We don't picture yet.
I had another heart operation. Been in
Turn your picture
rehab.
on, John. Turn your
But
Have
picture
the
on.
camera on.
I'm looking at it. I'm looking for it. Hold on.
Bottom left. Bottom left.
There it is.
There we
I'm
go.
still alive.
Hey.
I had 12 lives when I started talking to you guys way back. I'm down to 11. Those mothers can't keep me down. My cardiologist says, how the hell, I just saw you last week, tested you, your heart was great. I says, it was. I came in here, you told my daughter not to worry, and then you go in and you find out that the vein from my heart to my brain isn't open. So now you opened it, and all of a sudden I can see and I can feel, and you sons of bitches, for 5 years I've gone to you and said, I'm dizzy. 5 years I've been falling. 5 years I asked you, tell me what's the problem. And the problem was I wasn't getting any blood to my brains.
Yeah.
Mm.
I got up and I tap danced for the mother.
Good for you.
Well, according to Jeff, that's been going on for like 30 years, John.
What, tap dancing?
No, you didn't get any blood in your brain.
Oh,
Hopefully
that's
you're still getting blood in your pants.
I don't doubt that. But the problem is this time I was falling.
Yeah.
When I fell, I tripped. I broke my ribs, 3 ribs on the left side. The doctor's report was unknown damage to the right side. And I broke my back in 2 places.
Lord.
Oh, geez, how the hell did that happen?
Fell and I hit the tub.
Oh,
I
geez.
got a brace on.
Yeah.
Ouch. Thank you.
Don't
Yeah.
worry, buddies. I still got 11 lives and I'm going to outlive all of you guys.
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it.
I don't know.
I'm going to dance all along. My doctor says he doesn't understand how I could live. I said, that's because I don't believe in doctors. I think I told you
That's the
guys.
secret right there.
When I was 14, a doctor told my mother and me that I was going to die when I was 30. And the way out, he made my mother cry. On the way out, made my mother leave first. And I turned around. I said to him, fuck you. I'm going to piss on your grave. I was 21. I was graduating the last college football game I played in. Twisted my knee, went to the famous doctor from Poland who knows all about soccer knee. He says, you're going to be walking with the cane by time you're 30. You're going to be in a wheelchair by time you're 30. I said, fuck you. Third doctor I went to when I was 29, He said,
There he
"You're
is.
gonna be blind in your right eye. So don't
I have an
worry."
idea.
So I told him,
There you go.
fuck you. Well, he was the only one who was right. And so what that proves is only 30% of the doctors know what the hell they're talking about. So the next time you go to the doctor, you say, are you one of the 30% that knows what he's talking about? I'm telling you, I'm so fed up with doctors.
But you're looking good.
I feel great. They put blood to my brain.
Then you put some in your pecker.
We forgot about
Hold
that.
on a second. No, I haven't had any of that in my long time. Hello, Michael. What do you need?
Oh, man. We got a crew here today.
Yeah, a rare combination.
I wasn't here last week. Did anybody hear from Jeff?
Yeah, speaking of. Tom, have you heard from Jeff?
I
I
haven't
see
heard anything.
from him
I
on,
can't hear you. I'm sorry. You're breaking up. Okay. All right. Bye. Okay.
Your turn, Chris.
Got rid of him. That's my
no, I was
son.
going to say I saw some activity from Jeff on Facebook.
Good.
You know, not anything from him, but him liking or not liking different.
So
So
Yeah.
at least following.
So he's alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
How's he
sent,
doing? Is he
I
okay?
I sent Jeff a Hanukkah card and he responded on the web. So he's out there and still with us.
That's
Good.
he's in hospice, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
But sometimes I could come to his house. He might still be home, though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. My mom was on hospice at her house. So
Right. Right. Hmm.
Well, my news is I just got back from Key West,
Okay.
Wow.
and
Okay.
Key West is still
What
there
did
for
you
them.
say?
For
Wait,
those
hold
three-
on. What's the matter with Jeff? He's on hospice?
Yeah.
yes.
Heart
Jeff
issues.
is?
Well, it's not clear to me that he's on hospice. He's negotiating. He's talking about a plan, but I don't think he's got
Oh,
the
maybe
hospice
not.
care yet.
I think it's his heart.
Just went to do that with my wife for 7 months. They were great. I got to say, I wouldn't have been able to do it without hospice. I had her at home. I didn't want to put her in the hospital.
John, I'm going
And
to
they
put
were-
up what Jeff sent out to everybody so you can see it. Can you read that? If not, it
Pretty small. There you go.
says, my dear friends, I'm still alive, almost pain-free, reading, watching TV, and not yet at all frightened. Lynn and I are in the planning stages for hospice care for me.
Planning.
My poor heart is just wearing out slowly, I hope, but inexorably it lasted 80 years.
That's terrible.
5 cardiac episodes, open heart surgery, stenting, ballooning until my cardiologist said no more physical interventions are possible. I've enjoyed a really good life and I want my end of life to be as easy and gentle as possible. And the end of the road, drugs. This letter is just a heads up to friends and family. I love and thank you all. God bless as ever, Jeff.
Wow.
That's nice. That's nice.
It's nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing with hospice. They don't fix anything, but they will treat the symptoms and make you feel better.
Yeah.
They feed you
Yeah.
drugs. They give you plenty of drugs at the end.
Sounds like he's in planning stages for that. Like,
Yeah. I mean, at the end, I had more morphine than a drug addict. I was giving I had to give my wife morphine every 2 hours.
oh,
It was,
Wow.
but at the end, they came round the clock. They had people here around the clock. So at least I could get some sleep.
Yeah. Well, my mom and my dad both, they died in the house. We had hospice. We didn't have to administer the morphine though until the very last couple of days. They, tolerated everything well. But it's there if you need it. They
Yeah.
teach you how to do it. Yeah.
I swear by him. I swear by him.
I haven't picked out what I want people to say at my funeral.
Oh, you did?
uh-oh.
Look, he's moving.
God bless.
They're the words I want to hear.
So her in Key West is still the same, you said? You were saying? Her?
Key West?
Yeah, I was in Key West this past week. For those of you who have ever done the Joe Terra Captain Tony job, the flavor is still the same. I was there in 1980, 81, and 82. Now, Barry, were you there in 79?
I probably so. I started in 76 and went to about 79 or 80.
Yeah, because they have a picture of one of the horse races, the pony dog races,
Right.
but it looks like you and Yoakum,
Yeah.
although again, we're talking 40 years, so it's sort of
Right.
like you and Yoakum.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, that was quite a place down there.
It still is. It's still, my wife and I spent, 5 days walking. We stayed at the Pier House.
That's nice. Right across the street from almost from Captain Tony's.
Yeah, right around the corner.
Right.
So yeah, I recommend Key West. And they were fanatical about the masks and safety and all like that. We had all our meals outdoors and everything. There's a bit of a history. What happened is the mayor of Key West declared a mask mandate. You go out of your house, you got to wear a mask. You got to wear a mask in public. Governor of Florida says, it's illegal for cities and counties to issue mask mandates. No mask mandates.
Really? Oh, geez.
That man is a raving ass.
We're wearing masks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad you had fun down there.
Oh,
At
we
least not in California, where if you stand still, you get taxed.
Did you fly to Key West or did you drive down from Miami? Or
Key West from Miami is about 4 hours or so, but we did it in 2 trips. I live in Myrtle Beach, so we stopped halfway down Florida, about an hour south of Daytona, and stayed there. We found the Comfort Suites were really safe, so we stayed at Comfort Suites, and it felt secure there. And then it was 6 hours the rest of the way down for us. The drive in the Keys is just wonderful.
yeah, I would always wanted to do that, so I never did know how long it took to get from Miami down to Key West.
Yeah, it's just 4 hours, but you never get near Miami. I mean, there's a big loop around, and you grab the Florida Turnpike, and it just takes you right through Homestead and then down to the Keys. First half of the Keys is kind of like the worst of America, McDonald's, Burger King, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Then when you get to lower Keys, and you're basically driving right in the middle of the ocean, and it's a pretty neat experience. I mean, they got this bridge that's called 7 Mile Bridge because it's 7 miles long.
Wow.
Atlantic on one side, and you got the Gulf on the other. It's a fantastic experience. Really recommend.
And I was stationed in Key West in the Navy back in the 60s, going to sonar school, which is no longer there in Key West, but I was there for 6 months. That was before it was a tourist mecca. We'd get the hell out of there and go up to Miami on the weekends.
Yeah. I always wanted to go to Key West. Never been there.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's
It's
very
great. I mean, some of the souvenirs and T-shirts that they have in the shops, if they were displayed in the shops in South Carolina, the owner of the store would be arrested.
Oh yeah.
Culture. It's a very free, open culture, and no adult bookstores. The sex is so open and apparent that they don't need adult bookstores.
Yeah, it's a different flavor these days.
What's that?
It's a different flavor, so take my hint.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I found that it wasn't. We were there in 80 and 81, 82, and I thought it would be changed. And it is very touristy, but it's still freewheeling, and it's still got the flavor. It's still nice. We enjoyed it, and we felt like we were still in Key West. That we didn't, everything was wide open. My coffee mug said something to the effect that, ain't I just a ray of fucking sunshine?
Yeah. Well, one of the cruises I took out of New Orleans, one of the reasons I wanted to go on it was supposed to stop in Key West, but they changed it to some other place, and it kind of bugged me because I always wanted to go to Key West, but I think I would like to drive better anyway.
I think so.
One day I'm gonna get down there.
I mean, it's got the same feel as the French Quarter to
Yeah.
me.
Mhm.
I mean, I grew up in the French Quarter, and I went to Key West,
It
and
smells better than the French Quarter.
Well, it does, but very similar. The whole gay community thing, music, bars,
Hmm.
shops, craft shops and stuff. I'm sure that hasn't changed, Herb, huh?
I think Will Soto still performs down there, Barry, doesn't he?
I don't know.
Walking the tightrope in the square there, what's that square?
Yeah, did you ever get his book? I know I've thought about it.
I haven't got it. I thought about it though, but
Yeah, well,
they had a picture on Facebook of him performing with one of his kids up on the tightrope.
yeah. There are 3 towns in the East that I always think are bar-to-bar towns that are good music, bars, and just a fun nightlife. And one is Nashville, which has incredible musicians, great players. And then there is the French Quarter, and then there's Key West. It's those 3 places that really just have a hangout and freewheeling flavor that I really enjoy. I enjoy all 3 for slightly different reasons.
Yeah. Were there performances going on in Key West while you were there?
Yeah, every single performance is a guitarist who knows 3 chords. And I'm not exaggerating. I mean, that's all you get. You get a single. There are no bands. You got a single guitarist behind plexiglass playing Margaritaville. So I mean, it's terrible. The music is not worth it, except that it adds to the flavor. Key West is chic and raffish. It's upmarket and down market. It's everything all bunched into one. Unique.
It sounds like your father's mustache. Your father's mustache.
The 3 chords. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of that, I did get a message from Joel. I told him I couldn't find anybody to do the website, and he said thanks. So he's alive.
Yeah.
That's good.
Tell him I'm retired. I don't do stuff for free anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I told him to check with Joan. She's got a good website.
You think he's going to join us today, or probably not?
I don't think so. I mean, I send him texts a lot to, like, hey, we're going to send it for every Friday, but tell him that people would like to see him. But
So Chris wrote something on Facebook that got me thinking. He said that at YFM, your father's mustache, he always provided an environment where he felt comfortable.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah. I got to thinking. I said, yeah, I'm sure all of us on this platform today, because you're here and come every week, we all felt comfortable at your father's mustache.
That's right.
I was trying to say, well, why is that? Why did I feel so comfortable there when everybody else in my age was listening to Three Dog Night and Chicago Blood, Sweat, and Tears? I was singing Minnie the Mermaid. You know?
because it was
Oh,
just
yeah.
so much fun to sing.
All my peers were in Fat City doing disco, and I was playing Tootsie Goodbye and eating peanuts. You know?
The Peanuts. It was the Peanuts.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
why is it? What made me feel so comfortable? I mean,
Three Peanuts.
They were singing "Hey Jude" with the Beatles, and I was doing Tootsie Goodbye.
But you know, you could take your parents to your father. When my parents would come to visit, I'd take them down there. You could take them. You could take any age people there, and they all have the same experience. They all have a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, my parents used to come down a lot and give them a
And that might have
table in
been
my
it.
section.
That was family friendly,
It was
but
family friendly.
it could have been
I think one of the
nostalgia.
reasons we all got along so well is because we were all about the same age and all in our 20s and 30s at that point. And we were sharing all that experience together like a big fraternity house, really.
Yeah.
Right. I remember my
Animal
first
house.
night I was hired as a waiter. I mean, they gave me a manual, a typewritten manual. Y'all remember that? And
No.
I
Yeah.
read it. Somebody walked me around. showed
I
me
never
how
saw an instruction book.
No, I never did.
Me neither. No.
You order mixed drinks first, then mugs of beer, then
Well, that
beer, then peanuts.
No, I was
You
just,
know?
that was just yelled at me by
no, they
Matt.
told me that when I showed up. No, I just went down with my friend Tommy Barrios, and because they needed waiters for Mardi Gras. It was like, and Bruce Wilson was there, Roger and David.
LaRue?
Or Bruce Wilson was the assistant manager, and I walked in and he says, "Yeah, you're hired. You bring a white shirt and black pants. Come back tonight."
Oh, he asked you if you had a white shirt.
That was my orientation, you know. And
But I will
of course,
tell
I
you,
stood up and I got the little table all the way in the back that nobody sat at. But
I will tell you, as a waiter, as a bartender, and then as a musician, I still felt very comfortable there working
Exactly.
there. And I don't know why that is. I mean, you know, there was no,
You were surrounded by friends.
yeah, there was no politics, you know. I'm sorry.
Iris decided to join us.
You guys remember the tune list?
Yes.
The master tune list?
Oh, yeah, very much. I have a copy of it somewhere.
Me
I've
too.
got it.
Wow.
I got one.
I've got it.
Well, that was another Jeff Olswang line. You talk about surrounded by friends. One of Jeff Olswang's lines in the middle of a song would be, "I'm surrounded by assassins."
Hey, Ira.
Hey, Ira.
so Ira,
Happy Hanukkah, Ira. Happy Hanukkah. Happy
I tell
Hanukkah.
you, there was only one time when we had trouble in New York where guns were pulled. And we had,
Wow.
and the only thing that saved everybody was, for some reason, everyone knew what to do. They were sitting near the exit and the back of next to the band.
Yep.
And they were cops from Long Island, and they got drunk.
Oh,
And
Lord.
one of them had a wife who was pregnant with her, and all the waiters just ran over, and we just pushed them out the damn door, and then slammed the door behind them. So these guys called the cops, and we had the 10th precinct was there, and the precinct was in our pocket. Every Christmas, I took care of them. Every Christmas, every time they would come to me a couple of weeks before Christmas and tell me, "Okay, we got so many cops in the cars. We got the captain. And I have an envelope ready for them." So all during the year, the whole rule was, if there's any trouble, get it out of the club. Because if you get it out of the club, you don't have to worry about your license. And so we got him out of the club. They called the cops. The cops came. Fortunately, my man was on duty. He brought us into the office. And we just had laid brand new carpet in the office. And this son of a bitch was so drunk, he'd light a cigarette and then he would throw it on the floor. And it was that acrylic type of carpet and would burn a hole in the carpet. And Mackenzie was with me because I went bullshit when I seen him do it. The second time was enough for me. And Mackenzie had to pull me off him and pull me away. And the cop said, "You got to get out of here." And I just wanted. And the guys were dumb. They were cops from Long Island. They were young cops. They all thought they were Wyatt Earp. They had their guns. Unfortunately, New York cops were older, and they knew what they talked some sense into them. But that was the only time I ever saw a problem in any of the clubs that I've ever been in.
What was your position? Manager or what was your position?
At that time, no, Mackenzie was the manager, but I would work the service bar. And when Mackenzie would go out, he said, "Oh, I'm going out." So when he went out, I had to take over.
I got you.
But the thing was, the waiters were fantastic because they got there first. I had to get over the bar, get to the crowd, but they got there first. And by the time I got out there, all I had to help them do was close the door. But then once I closed the door, then I had to go and take care of them in the manager because Bob wasn't back. But then Bob came back and he knew I was a hothead. He knew I was I just didn't give a shit about that cop. And see, I come from a family of cops. They're just people. I love cops, but if you're gonna act like a fool, you deserve what you get. And they just didn't understand that. Someone's coughing. Don't worry about it. Someone's coughing.
I'll tell you, my experience in New York and New Orleans is I didn't see too many altercations at all in the clubs.
Nah.
I don't think we really had any big trouble in New Orleans, did we? I don't remember any.
You know, we were
never
fortunate.
felt
We were
like
right on Bourbon Street where they had a lot of cops. Our instructions were just to
Throw them out.
get to them, get their feet off the floor so they can't struggle. And all the waiters would carry them to the door, get them out on the street, and like you said, close the door and let the cops deal with it. Because you didn't have. To
I recall another experience with John Gagan. Remember John Gagan?
Oh yeah, he was a Fordham guy.
Came in with his brother for his birthday and got hammered. And his brother, who was bigger than John, just said, anything he starts, I'll finish. Well, by the end of the night, they're both absolutely plastered drunk. And they just started slugging the other customers who were sitting around. They just started beating them up and everything. And that ended the night. And it got him out. And I understand that afterwards that Joel did sue John Gagan for the whatever damage he had caused that night. You know, it was a pretty, and Harry Black was on the banjo. Harry Black was leading the band at the time. I remember that specifically. I have a really nice Harry Black story. You know, he came over to the YFM at Carnegie Hall.
Yes.
He was there for that.
Yeah.
And, later on, my cousin in England got married up in the Lake District in the same town where Harry Black happened to live. So I called up my cousin and said, look, there's a banjo player in the town. Would you like us just to come and play a couple of songs for your wedding? You know, so she said, oh yeah, bring him over, have him bring his wife and everything, have him be part of the party. So he ended up at a beautiful hotel in Windermere, right on Lake Windermere, and played 2 or 3 songs. So I had a wonderful time. He had a great time. His wife was thrilled to be in that hotel and everything like that. And it wasn't till a year later that he had passed away. Well, last year or the year before, I'm going back to the Lake District again, just vacationing on my own. And I stopped in a pub, and I said to the fellow, we were just chatting, and I said, "Look, I have a friend of mine who used to live here, is a banjo player named Harry Black," and he said I was at his funeral. You know, and that's a real neat thing. I liked Harry. Harry was a good man.
He was very nice. He was very quiet, but he was afraid of flying. He was deadly afraid of flying. I made him fly the first time, and then after that, he said, I got to go by train or bus, because in England, everything goes by train. You get anywhere. Well, the first time he had a job, it was in Tennessee, and it took him 2 days to get to Tennessee. Because, you know, the trains don't, like, yeah. But he had a club in Blackpool, didn't he?
Blackpool.
He had a club in Blackpool, him and his wife said. Yeah, he was, I tell you, the nicest guy you ever want to meet. Yeah. Then there was the 2 brothers. What the hell was their names? Ian was a waiter.
And
Len, yeah. Ian was crazy.
Les Davies.
Les Davies.
Davies,
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
But he had a name before, Les Bennett's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bennett sounds familiar.
Les Bennett's.
Les Bennett, Lee. I remember Les Bennett and Ian Bennett. Sure, I remember them. Yeah.
Yeah.
When he was in New Orleans, he had an apartment on, I think it was not Bourbon, but Dauphine, or the one on the other side of that. And I went to visit him once, and there was a little shelf across the top of his 1-room bedroom, and he had empty bottles of whiskey stacked side by side all the way around, because I guess he went through a bottle of that a night.
Wow.
Well, what Peter and I would work with, he was the leader for a while, and Peter and I were sidemen, and he'd show up drunk, of course, but because he drank so much, he would sweat profusely. Remember that, Peter?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, his banjo was all rotted out from sweat.
There was also a manager named Roger Neville. Remember Roger Neville?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was another nice guy. And John, you had sent us up to a Montreal to do a TV show for the Expo.
Yeah,
The
I was there.
Expo. And so anyway, Les Muscat was on the band, and Roger Neville. And, both guys are witty and fun and everything like that. And so anyway, while we're sitting in a bar, I hear another English accent. So I figure, well, every Englishman's kind of like Roger and Les. So I went up and struck a conversation with a guy who turned out to be the most boring person I ever met in my life. And I had to extricate myself, and I went back to Roger and Les and said, "Whoa, what a boring guy." And they both said, "Yeah, we know, we heard the English accent."
Well, guys, I need to go. My wife just came home. I need to take care of some stuff. Take
Take care,
care.
Peter.
Do everything she tells you.
You can
Yes,
put your
dear.
work up here.
Yes, dear.
Back in the whip.
You got the
All right.
last word in, huh?
Yep. Bye-bye.
Next week, Peter.
Take care, Pete.
Okay.
Peter.
Yeah.
So yeah, I remember that TV show because they put us into makeup, and I was right next to Jackie Vernon. Remember the comedian Jackie Vernon that had a Trump prop, and he was a boring, dull guy, and he had like a whole routine where he was boring, but he was a comedian, and
Yeah.
So anyway, and the thing is, Jackie Vernon is not saying a word to me. His manager is asking me, like, "Oh, what group are you in? What kind of music? Isn't that interesting, Jackie?" And Jackie wasn't saying anything. His agent was going on a mile a minute during the whole thing. Anyway, and that was the first time in my life I had ever had makeup applied for a TV show. I thought I was hot shit.
Just look pretty, that's all.
Yeah. Wow.
That was a fun gig. We didn't play that much, but it was fun to be in Montreal. It's the first time I think I was ever out of the country.
That's right. You were on that, right, Chris? With Les? And I forget. Yeah, it was my wife, my ex-wife's first plane flight, and she's sitting, and Les Muscat is sitting in front of her. Les Muscat turns around to her, taps on the window shade thing, that plastic window shade that you can pull down. He taps on and says they're plastic. Les had just a devastating sense. I was having dinner with him at Deanie's in the Quarter.
Right.
Deanie's restaurant, and I said to him, "Boy, there is no place like the French Quarter." And Les said, "Promise?"
Yeah, his wife Babs, she's an artist. She's still around Jackson Square. If you go around Barry, you may see her sometimes.
Yeah. He used to suffer from really bad headaches.
Here comes Joan.
Yeah, he used to have bad headaches. Bad migraine.
Hey, Joni.
Hi, Joan.
Joan.
Put your video on, Joan. There you go.
There you go.
Hey, Johnny.
There she is.
How are
Yay.
Put on your
Audio.
sound.
Yeah.
Put your sound
You're
on,
late.
Joan.
Could you
Hello,
report to the
Joan.
attendance office?
Joan, put your audio on.
Put your audio on.
Got it on. I mean, it doesn't have a line through it.
Yeah, it does.
We can't
Now it
hear you,
does.
Joan.
Yeah, I see a little line through her microphone on mine.
Now
Yeah, it's a line.
Yeah, there we go.
There.
No, we still can't hear you.
Because the line's through it again.
Watch your language.
Okay, guys, yeah. Play them up.
No?
On mine, it's on the very lower left-hand corner. It says mute. I don't know if it's like that on everybody's.
Yeah.
That's right.
Joan, it looks like
If we all point
you-
down the
Yeah, Joan, if you can't, well, I don't know if she can hear me, but you could call me and I can just put it on the phone and you can keep the video up. There's something going on because last week it didn't work either. So Joan, if you can hear me, 301
Lower left.
270 5832. Except your internet connection is unstable, it said.
Hey, you know, when women don't have a microphone, they're pretty nice.
I'm not going to go there.
Easy.
Talking like a man who's been divorced.
There you go.
Don't make enemies.
It's a shame we can't read your lips.
Yeah. She probably doesn't have that bar on the bottom showing with the mute button.
Yeah, maybe not.
What's that song? Your lips told me yes, yes.
You're on. There
Your
was,
lips
I don't know when you're
don't
on.
know, but wee in your eyes.
Could she hear us?
her lips said no, but there were.
I don't know. Joan, can you hear us? Shake your head if you can.
Hey, Joan, put your thumb up if you can hear us.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think she can hear us either.
Oh, she can't hear us even if the audio's on.
Ah, it's the Marcel Marceau.
Yeah, right.
Well, there's a name from the past.
Yeah.
Hey, Tom, can you unmute her? Can you do it?
It just,
I saw him.
All I
perform.
can, it says ask to unmute.
I saw him when he was in his 80s. It was his last trip.
I hit that button, but it doesn't do anything. Okay, there. Now it should be on.
There.
Hey, Joan, if you can hear us, sign out and sign back in again.
Just try that. She said okay.
but no, the microphone button went off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Maybe she could
okay.
try
So she
again.
heard that.
Technology.
Oh,
Gee.
no, she could hear us.
Sounded like it.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
if
maybe
they
she'll
have
try
any
again.
problems, they could always call. I was telling John that he could just call in and I'll hold the mic up. At least he can hear.
Yep.
Okay,
The
here
the
comes
best
Joan
Marcel
again.
Marceau thing was in the movie, silent movie, the Mel Brooks movie, Silent. Movie.
Right. Yeah.
He's the only
One
person
line
that
in the whole show. Yeah.
Marcel Marceau said no in the movie Silent Movie, and that was the only
Joan, can you hear us? She doesn't have her camera on.
There
Okay,
she
now her
is.
camera's
Joan,
on.
can you hear us?
Still not working.
Her microphone's not X'd out.
Right.
No. Everybody get a pad of paper with
I
marks
got
on
it. I'm working on it here.
Turn the volume. Maybe she needs to turn the volume up. If there is volume.
she's writing.
Yeah, write us
She's
a
writing messages.
Let's play charades.
I like it.
You know what? This is the first time this has happened.
Is
It
it okay?
I can.
It is okay.
It is okay.
Can you see this?
Look for
There
Mike.
you go.
Look for Mike lower left.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, she's got her mic on, but there's something
The
in her
microphone is on.
system that's not
How
working.
about the microphone? Is the speaker on? Her.
I think it's a testimony to the character of this group that no one has mooned in this Zoom meeting yet.
Uh-oh.
Oh, here, let me fix that for you.
We'll get a young,
Back it up, Joan, back it up.
back it up a bit. We'll get a young,
Lift it up now.
We'll get.
Raise it a little higher.
Okay.
get a young person, probably a child to come fix it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, get a young one. Okay.
You have a teenager around there?
There's no young men here.
Yeah, really?
A preschooler, maybe? They can fix it.
All right, well, since you wanted a moon,
There you go. Okay.
That'll wake her up.
Jeez.
Joel.
Or she'll leave the room.
Yeah, I'm just
Hey, Tom,
thinking,
just don't turn it around.
I'm looking at his ass. After having 2 heart attacks and a whole bunch of other stuff, That's the way my ass looks now. I'm really in good shape.
We're not going to ask you to prove it.
I'm not gonna.
Please.
And I want to know how you know what your ass looks like, John.
I'll send you a picture.
That'll be a thrill.
Oh, man.
Well, guys, I gotta go. We're having latkes tonight. I didn't get to them the first night of Hanukkah, but I'm getting them in tonight.
Who made them? You did, Chris?
Happy Hanukkah to you.
Chris, did you make the latkes?
Wait a minute.
I'm making the
Your first name is Christian? What is this?
latkes.
I was just wondering.
Applesauce or sour cream?
Applesauce.
That's the way.
I made that too.
You're shitting me, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
my wife
wonderful.
doesn't even like opening the jar.
You know, they come in the jar.
Well, you said, Ira, you shit me on Hanukkah?
What's that?
So you shit me, huh?
Yeah, we're gonna light the candles tonight. Send me a press.
2 candles tonight.
2 candles.
All right, take care, guys.
All right, Chris.
Take care, Chris. See you next week.
Hanukkah. Okay, Joan's waving at us.
So that means she heard him.
She can hear us, I
He
think.
can hear us. We just
Oh,
can't.
can you hear us? Yeah, okay, well, good. We'll listen at least.
So, Tom, you have another photo for us?
Yeah.
That last one wasn't enough.
Oh, that was too much.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
While I was in the hospital, my daughter went through my house. I told her to look for pictures. She found pictures of the first time we were on the Ed Sullivan Show. I got to give them to you
Yeah,
guys.
send me some of
Wow.
those. That would be good.
Yeah,
I thought this
Peter.
was good. That's Kent McBride and Pete.
With Pete.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the mustache reunion, huh?
Yeah, that was the
Yeah.
one in New York. But
Yeah.
Harry, that looks like your hat in the background.
It is, and Mike Gentry, that's his shoulder
Mike
right
Gentry right there.
Yeah.
And then John sent me. Let me find something else that they sent. Give me a second. It's coming. Oh, I also found this, which I thought was really great.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there we are.
That's a Barry Kaiser photo.
My God, what a mountain crew.
I guess that's New Orleans.
I mean, that's Billy. That's Rick. Tom. Yeah, Eddie.
Kent,
Yeah.
John.
Yeah, and Mad Dog.
Is that McClernand in there?
No,
No, it was John Leonard, but we used to
Okay.
call him Mad Dog. Don't know why. He came
You
down
guys
from
look
Jersey with Joe
Rough enough
Mullane.
to be a rock band.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
Barry Kaiser was a waiter there, and he had he still shoots professional photographs, and he took a lot of photos of the employees. Then they were all great. All the not the employees, but the pictures.
Yeah. Yeah. Barry's good.
hmm
He posts pictures on Facebook of
Yeah,
different
he
things.
does. He does shoot some very
Really?
interesting
Oh,
photos.
yeah. He's really, really good.
and then this is Roger and David. David didn't show up today, but
Oh,
Yeah.
this-
that was
All
our
right.
two managers, and that's the bar behind.
Yeah, that was a great bar.
Oh, I loved it. It was a good bar. Spent many nights behind that bar.
Yeah, I spent a couple under it. So
Yeah.
I was gonna say.
A lot of time on top of the bar too.
I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
I have that exact picture, the original, in my garage.
With Roger and David.
The actual picture itself, not a.
Oh, really? Really? Wow.
well, you might have sent it to me. So
I remember the first time I worked down there behind the bar at the service register, and I'm on pallets. It had pallets behind the bar, and all night long, all I can help see is the rats running underneath my feet.
they were trying to get to the peanuts.
Yeah,
That's right.
Well, you had to stand on pallets, and you'd be like standing in spilt beer.
That-
No, we sold some beer at that club. I tell you, it's.
Right.
I mean, I don't know how the other clubs did, but I remember that one Mardi Gras. I think we blew 56 kegs. Was it? It was.
Wow.
incredible.
Something like that. One night, yeah,
In one night.
one night.
Hey, Ira, this is what I want to ask you.
Yeah.
When did the New York mustache switch from Schlitz beer to Schaefer, and why?
Oh, Schaefer.
You know what? I forgot why we switched.
Because when I got up to New York again in '75,
Right. It was on Schaefer.
that it was Schaefer beer.
Right. I don't remember when we switched or why.
Did they go out of business? Did they go out of business, Schlitz?
Schlitz? I don't know if they went out of business then.
No. Because they were from Milwaukee. I used to go down there and work the contracts with them to supply us beer. And it was just a weird place.
That was their. That was Schlitz's tagline. The beer that made Milwaukee famous.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Did New Orleans
Because
switch
it
over to
tastes
Schaefer
so
too?
good.
No, New Orleans stayed with Schlitz till it burned down. But
So
after
they didn't go out of business. That's not the reason why.
Yeah.
Say what?
They didn't go out of business.
No.
So that would not be the reason why we switched.
Schaefer wasn't even a beer available in New Orleans.
See, no, they had Schaefer in New Orleans, but it tasted bad.
Yeah, it
was-
really did. I mean, somebody
Really?
gave me a Schaefer once, and the first beer I spit out. I mean, it really.
It was cheap. The bottled Schaefer beer we get down here in New Orleans was horrible. When I
Yeah.
got up to New York and I saw that the spigot said Schaefer, I said, "You got to be shitting me!" And I drank it, and it didn't taste. I mean, it tasted okay
Yeah.
compared to what we had down here.
The water.
When I was in college, I worked for Schaefer one summer, and I worked in the advertising department. And they had a tap room where all employees could go to the tap room.
Oh,
So I used to go there and we each had a bucket. So I'd go there, get a bucket, and I put it on my foreman's desk. He was drunk by 12 o'clock. So they had to pass a rule. You couldn't go to the tap room till after 12 o'clock. But they used to give us, at Easter time, they'd give us 2 cases of Bock beer. I don't know why, it's from Germany. It's an Easter beer. The things tasted like crap. So I brought the cases home. My father had 2 beers, and he gave him the runs for 2 days.
They used to let us sell Lowenbrau during Oktoberfest. Lowenbrau
Yeah.
Dark. Otherwise, it was Schlitz only. But during
Right.
Oktoberfest, they would let us sell Lowenbrau Dark beer.
Hmm.
That's the only time it made sense when we'd say pitcher of light. We would always say a pitcher of light, even though that's the only kind of beer we had.
we had dark beer in New York.
Really?
We did? Okay, we never did, except
We
for,
never did, yeah.
for Oktoberfest.
We had the English guy, one of the English guys who worked as a waiter. He worked behind the service bar. What he would do is he would put in half a glass of dark and half a glass of light, and it was great. It didn't even taste like beer. It was great. And then he got drunk every night. But he got me drunk too. And then of course, Russ was always drunk, so it didn't matter.
I'd say most of us were drunk every night.
Yeah, I could understand how it would be easier for a musician to be drunk and a waiter to be drunk than,
Oh, yeah.
you know, I
We had
could.
to keep up with the clients. We were,
I mean, if you weren't drunk when the club closed, you were by the time you got home.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Always, yeah.
Also a few after work.
After the bar closed, I walked my wife home. She lived on 13th Street, and I'd come back and I'd sleep on the couch. So I sober up a little, and then I'd go home. I didn't want to go home. I lived in Bedford-Stuyvesant. I didn't want to go home in the dark, so I waited till the daylight so I could go home.
a likely story.
Mhm.
And then John sent, because I put this picture up last week, but John sent me a new one. He said this was better.
Oh, good.
John, who watches
McLaren?
every
McLaren?
yeah, McLaren, and who watches every YouTube I send.
Yes, he does.
That's a New York club.
Yes.
And that's your friend with clean shaving.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
A clean shaven Joe Terra, yeah.
Yeah, Joe Terra.
Is that Grover Cleveland? That's Grover next to you, right? Isn't that Grover?
Grove's
That's,
on the
that's
Grove's on the
Grover, I
left-
think.
Grove's on the left-hand side, yeah.
Yeah. And then what was the trombone guy's name? I forgot his name.
It was Craig Grant was playing on the left, and then
Craig,
to the
yeah.
right of him was Dave Bargeron, and then Jay Brackett is in between them.
Yeah. Jay was something else. He was a
He sure was.
God.
Wow.
Isn't that Neil Undersayer
Oh,
and
it
Les
is.
Davies or Les Bennett there too?
That's right. Understair and then Les Bennett, yeah.
No?
Who's the banjo player second from right? I can't remember his name.
That's
Les Bennett.
Les Bennett.
Les Bennett. Les
Yeah.
Davies, Les
I
Bennett.
didn't recognize him from here. Of course, I don't have my glasses.
That's Les Davies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I didn't recognize him either.
Geez, and Joe without his beard is something else. God, he looks like a little kid.
He does, doesn't he? Yeah.
Tom, can you blow that up a little bit so we can see Joe without a beard better?
No, that's as big as I can get it. I got to figure out how to make these things bigger. But
Who's
Look
the
at
guy
the-
on the bottom left with the washboard on his knee?
Oh, that's Grove.
That's Grove Thomas.
He used to throw the knives up in the air too.
He's on the postcard, huh?
Oh, yeah.
He must be the one on the postcard because that guy threw them knives in the air.
That's right. That's right.
But look at the
Jim, what
guy.
year was that?
Look at the customers. How young they are. How the hell did they get in without being carded?
Jim, what year was that about?
Oh,
In the 60s, definitely.
Yeah, it was 18 back then, huh?
late 60s sometime.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, in New Orleans, it was 18 and back in the 60s to drink.
When
Right.
did Grove leave? When did Grove leave?
Oh. 65, 66, maybe in there
Yeah,
somewhere.
so this is in the early days of the mustache.
Yeah. Well, we were still a Red Garter. You could see the sign on the wall.
Right, the Red Garter, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That is really, yeah.
I think Grove would have left in the late 60s because I was playing in the club then, and he was at that time playing one night a week. I think he played Sunday nights with Gim. That was in the late 60s.
Why did you have so many players that night? I'm just curious.
Because I think it was the afterglow after one of the Ed Sullivan gigs, I think.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's the only reason.
We did that a couple of times. There's another
You
picture
got
with
ready?
people in it.
Okay.
yeah. What song we all playing?
What key? What key?
Nine banjos, 2 washboards, 3 trombones, 2
hey guys, I got to go talk to my doctor for a second, but I'll leave this picture up.
I got to
Okay.
run too, guys. See y'all next week.
It's not a proctologist. Uh-oh. We're gone. I think everybody froze up on me.
No, we still got you.
Yep.
We still got you.
Is everybody there?
Oh, yeah, we're here.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, the customers, they thought we were classified as a Dixieland band or a jazz band and all that, and we weren't,
Far from it.
we were far from it. Our thing wasn't trying to play good jazz. I mean, if it came out good, that's all the but
It was the luck.
to me, success was did we get people to sing along and buy drinks?
Excuse me for a moment. I gotta go take a leak.
Well, I think the only reason he hired the trombones is just because I could hear the melodies.
Say that again, Bill?
I think for the only reason that Joel had the trombones
Yeah,
was for the melodies. So people could hear the melodies and sing.
Right.
right. At the beginning, there wasn't any horn, and then there was a trumpet for a while, and then they brought in the trombone because Joel thought that the trombone had the same register as basically the same register as the human voice.
I think
Yeah.
he was right.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
People listen to a trumpet or a clarinet, but they'll sing along with a trombone. I think
Yeah,
for that
good.
reason.
Yeah, that's right.
That sounds like something that could be put at the end of a signature.
Yeah. The trombone always gets the best lines too, I tell you what.
Yeah. They won't listen to a trombone, Herb. I hate to tell you.
Yeah, I understand that. They're better off. Well, the other thing about the trombone, it was a lot more visual than a clarinet or a trumpet.
That's
That's
right.
the key.
That's true.
Good point,
That's
yeah.
true.
Yeah,
You
who was the
couldn't
guy
talk when-
y'all talked about that lost his slide once?
Oh, that was that Yoakum?
It was one of our meetings. We were talking about somebody that had was playing the trombone and they just lost their slide out into the audience.
I think that was Steve Yoakum
Yeah.
Okay.
that lost it. Jeff told the story.
Yeah. That would have been funny to see.
I liked when Neil DeFeo would play. You couldn't hear yourself think.
No,
He played loud.
the world's loudest.
good, though.
trombone player.
He was good.
He still is, by the way.
Yeah, well, he was loud. He played very loud.
He's one of the only trombone players I know that can do Getting Sentimental Over You in the key of D where Dorsey did it. Everybody else does it in B flat, but he does it in D. And he actually hits the high D. It's amazing.
Mm.
I work with him about twice a year, and he never practices. But somehow or other, he keeps his embouchure and he can still play.
When
Yeah,
we were
and-
down there, we went
I'll tell you
down.
that, as a trombone player, the other thing about Neil is that he doesn't get enough credit, or he never did when I was around, for his musicianship. He was a really good musician as well.
Sure.
Well, when we played down in, I guess it was Punta Gorda, any of y'all were there? Punta Gorda? Well, no, it was when we went and visited Joan in Clearwater and played there. And then we went down to Neil's house. He invited us to his house.
Oh,
You
yeah.
ought to see that. You ought to see that shack. Man, I mean, yeah, it was something else. I mean, he had his own private beach on a Gulf.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, private beach, and we walked in. There was waiters in white coats holding up drinks and hors d'oeuvres and all. It was really something.
Hmm.
All he wanted to do was play his trombone.
If you got enough money, you can do whatever you want, I guess.
Well, I think he's got enough money.
Yeah.
He's done very well. He's done very well.
What are
Yeah,
you talking about?
He's been the CEO of several different companies.
right.
And but he's generous with his time. He does throw a great party. He throws a Christmas party we look forward to every year.
And that's what at his house up north.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You talk about DeFeo?
yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't he have a twin that got killed?
He had his twin brother Phil died. He didn't get killed. He died, but
I mean,
he
died
died.
in an
He died of a heart attack.
Oh, I thought for some reason, I thought he fell in front of a train. I don't know why.
No, that's not true. He was in New York for a business meeting and didn't come down for the meeting. And they went to the hotel room and found him.
Wow.
Really? Oh, God.
I know he was pretty shook up about it when it
Yes, he
happened.
was. Hey, man, when your twin brother dies, I mean, it's got to say something, doesn't it?
That really had an effect. Yeah.
Well,
Phil was a good musician too. He was a clarinet player. He played at the Mustache a few times, but only in a big setting.
Twins.
yeah, it seems like at the New Orleans club, I was there 4 years and I can only remember 3 trombone players. I remember Freddie Alonso, Maynard Chatters, and Ben Smith. And I can't think any other trombone players we had. Seemed like it had a lot of different banjo players and all that.
You don't remember Jerry Orcus
That doesn't sound familiar.
or
I worked there from 70 to 74, so I don't know these guys.
name Jimmy Heaslip used to play there.
Jimmy.
Yeah.
Did anybody ever work at the Chicago club?
I ran it for a while.
Yeah, I remember the thing about the Chicago. First of all, I heard Jimmy Hayslip play there, and what a wonderful player he was.
He was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, not a good player, great player.
Yeah.
And then
He
they
was great.
had a
Well, after
sign
he
over
left the
the
mustache,
bar. They had a
after-
terrific sign over the bar that said something to the effect that, you know, they built this bar in Alaska, handmade and everything, put it on the Iditarod sled it down to the thing, to a river, to the all these things to get it to Chicago, and they got it there the day before the Chicago fire.
Boy.
Yeah, that's Joel's humor.
But Jimmy Heaslip, when he left the mustache in, I guess, 1970, 71, he went on with Pete Fountain. He was in Pete Fountain's group for
No kidding.
Anyway, I'm going to have to get off now, but I don't know if everybody's still on because I'm surrogate Tom or not. so I think when I leave, I don't know if it's going to keep going or not.
It should, but I'm going to check out anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it-
I think-
Okay, guys.
Hey, so tell everybody goodbye. You know.
Hanukkah.
Have a happy Hanukkah.
Thank you.
Happy Hanukkah. See you
And we'll
next.
see you guys next week.
Hey, we'll
See you all next week.
You bet. Take it
Good
easy.
health.
Have a good one.
You too.
Bye-bye.
See y'all later. Bye.
How the fuck do I get out of here?
We're all figuring out how to close it up.